Before I start, I'm going to pray. Dear Lord, thank you that we get to be here today. Thank you that we get to be in your presence. Lord, I pray that you would just speak through me to everybody here. Lord, I pray that they would just have receptive hearts and that they would just listen to you and listen to your word. Amen. All right, so today I'm going to be doing a Devo over idolatry. Could you put the first slide up there? Commercial break. Thank you, sir. So we're going to be in Exodus 32, and I'll start off by reading it. When the people saw that Moses delayed to come down from the mountain, the people gathered themselves together to Aaron and said to him, "Up, make us gods who shall go before us. As for this Moses, the man who brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we do not know what has become of him." So Aaron said to him, "Take off the rings of gold that are in your ears of your wives, your sons, and your daughters, and bring them to me." So all the people took off the rings of the gold that were in their ears and brought them to Aaron. And he received the gold from their hands and fashioned it with a graving tool and made a golden calf. And they said, "These are your gods, O Israel, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt." When Aaron saw this, he built an altar before it. And Aaron made a proclamation and said, "Tomorrow shall be a feast to the Lord." And they rose up early the next day and offered burnt offerings and brought peace offerings. And the people sat down to eat and drink and rose to play. So I really noticed whenever I heard that quote, I was like, dang, that's really deep. And that really shows how lost we really are and how we pour everything that we have into those idols whenever they don't pour anything into us. We just keep pouring out into them, and we don't get anything out of it except for weakness, and we just drift away from God. Verse 3 in chapter 32 says that all the people took off the rings and gave them to Aaron. That really shows that they were in this as a team. Is this on? Okay, I don't feel like it is, but that they were into this as a team, and they were just a sinful nation. Even though they were God's nation, they were still sinful. So we empty ourselves into empty objects. And are left even more empty because those sins are thriving in our lives and in others. And sometimes we do this in groups. We can do this in private. We can do this anywhere, basically, because we have idols that are everywhere, like our phones, our just things around us that we invest all of our time and money in. So for my second point, I have a fallen nations. That's going to be verses 7 through 10. I might have wrote that down wrong. But, and the Lord said to Moses, "Go down, for your people whom you brought up out of the land of Egypt have corrupted themselves. They have turned aside quickly out of the way that I have commanded them. They have made them for themselves a golden calf and have worshipped it and sacrificed it and said, 'These are your gods, O Israel, who brought you out of the land of Egypt.' And the Lord said to Moses, 'I've seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. Now therefore let me alone, that my wrath may burn hot against them, and I may consume them in order to make a great nation of you.'" So, in verse 7, it says that they have corrupted themselves. But basically he's saying that they have, by their own doing, they have corrupted themselves and just turned away from God completely as a whole nation, not just individual people, but as a whole nation. And so we also see that Aaron, he was the one that was encouraging this, basically. He was like, "All right, yeah, I'll give you idols." And so we see that he was a fallen leader because he's the leader of the nation, and God chose him to be Moses' voice in freeing the people from Egypt. And so the people that we see as leaders, they're struggling with a lot of stuff too. They're struggling with stuff. They're struggling with stuff in private, and then in public whenever we're around them, and we don't even see it. We think that they're invincible and that they're perfect, but they're really not. I've seen this in my life. I've seen this in other people's lives, and it's a really harsh reality. And also I noticed in these verses that Like they went totally out of their way to worship these gods. They gave up all they had for them. You see them giving up their gold earrings for them, but they didn't give up anything for God. They didn't give up their time. They didn't wait on him at all. They just totally gave up on him while he was talking to Moses up on the mountain, trying to purify them. But they just gave up. And also, let me see. 1 second. Commercial break. Thank you. Dang, I lost it. But somewhere in there, it says, God says that they are Moses' people too. That really shows that that Moses and God were one, and that they had such a great relationship that like they practically shared Israel, but not actually, because that was God's people, not Moses' people. He was just the leader of the group. So I really think that we should all strive to have that relationship with God, and do all we can to draw close to Him. And yeah, that's all I got.